Here's something insane. This isn't the video that I had put together today to release out to the world for my Wednesday upload. No, this video is something brand new because I was waiting on some news that I'd heard rumor about that was finally released about 45 minutes ago in Variety. And that is that Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman, the founders of Quibi, are considering shutting the platform down. I told you so.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino!
Okay guys, as part of this, I'm going to be reading from the article more than I am doing any scripted or off-the-cuff stuff. So obviously I'll be adding some things, so just bear with me. We're going to go through this really fast. It's going to be on the screen for you to review as we go. Quibi, the struggling short-form mobile video startup led by founder Jeffrey Katzenberg and CEO Meg Whitman, may be forced to shut down after failing to find a buyer, according to a new report. Wow. According to a Wall Street Journal report, a restructuring firm hired by Quibi, which raised $1.7 billion in pre-launching funding, provided a list of options to the company's board of directors this week. One of the proposals for Quibi to cut its losses and shutter the company. Of course. Quibi is holding a call with its investors later today to update them on the status of the company per the Journal story, which cited anonymous sources. Well, I guarantee you there's some pretty high level up people if they're in that meeting. Sources told Variety that Quibi has set an all-hands internal meeting for 6 p.m. Eastern today. That is less than 2.5 hours from now. Katzenberg, according to Report Tuesday by The Information, has told people in the industry that he may have to shut the company down. This is no surprise. Quibi reps did not respond for a request for comment. I knew this was coming. They couldn't generate any interest. The celebrity culture that they were banking so heavily on doesn't exist any longer. So anyway, last month, the Wall Street Journal reported that Katzenberg was exploring strategic options for Quibi, including a potential sale. Katzenberg had pitched a sale of the company, which has about 500,000 paying customers. That's not very many. To Apple, Warner Media, and Facebook, but was rebuffed. Of course, they're all in weird restructuring modes, and both Apple and Facebook are, going to have to play defense against the federal government for antitrust real soon. Anyway, The Information reported earlier this month. Oh, well, I shouldn't have read that part. Anyway, sorry. Katzenberg also struck out in his attempt to sell Quibi's programming rights to companies including NBC Universal and Facebook. Well, they said no to him twice then. Per the Information story this week, NBCU was put off by the fact that Quibi doesn't own many of the shows that it puts on its platform, according to today's Journal article. That's interesting. Actually, Quibi doesn't own any of the big budget premium content for which it has shelled out upwards of $100,000 per minute. The company has 7-year licenses on its short-form series. After 2 years, content owners have the rights to assemble the shows and distribute them elsewhere. Well, that makes a lot of sense. They're getting paid for producing the show at $100,000 a minute. You know what I could do with that? And basically only sit on them for 2 years before they can sell them elsewhere? What a sweetheart deal Katzenberg did for these folks, and you know what? I wouldn't pay anything for some of the stuff I've seen on Quibi. Anyway, I continue. When Quibi launched 6 months ago, it stuck to its original vision of a built-for-mobile viewing experience, just as the pandemic kept millions of consumers homebound. Katzenberg insisted Quibi's Quick Bite content was meant to be watched on smartphones. Only this week did the company launch apps for viewing on living room TVs, on Apple TV, on Amazon Fire TV, Google TV, and Android TV devices. That's way too late. Even after Quibi's initial subscriber numbers came in lower than its ambitious forecast, Katzenberg professed to remain bullish on Quibi's prospects. "I'm still quite optimistic this is going to work," he said at an industry conference in June. I didn't think so. In 2018, the startup, then called New TV, announced that it had raised $1 billion in funding. Among initial investors were a who's who of Hollywood studios: Disney, NBC Universal, Sony Pictures Entertainment, Viacom, AT&T's Warner Media, Lionsgate, MGM, ITV, and Entertainment One, which is now part of Hasbro. Tech investors included China's Alibaba Group. Well, there you go. The funding round was led by a VC firm, Madrone Capital Partners. Other investors were Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and John Malone's Liberty Global. The Katzenberg-founded WNDR Co., Winder Co., or Wonder Co., I would imagine, investment vehicle also is a Quibi investor. So in March of 2020, just ahead of Quibi's April 6th debut, the LA-based company announced it had attained an additional $750 million tranche of funding and existing and new investors, which it would not or did not identify. So let me put it this way. Quibi had 50 original titles at launch. They included all of these celebrities I'm about to list: Jennifer Lopez, Chrissy Teigen, Chance the Rapper, Liam Hemsworth, Sophie Turner, Lena Waithe, Nicole Richie, and Reese Witherspoon. It also greenlit pricey projects with Steven Spielberg, Sam Raimi, Antoine Fuqua, Anna Kendrick, Rachel Brosnahan, Issa Rae, Kevin Hart, Steven Soderbergh, and the Kardashians, among others. According to Katzenberg, in the first year, Quibi had planned to launch some 175 original series and 8,500 episodes. It's not clear whether that will actually happen now. Not going to happen. The service, which is ostensibly aimed at consumers between 18 and 34, key demographic, costs $4.99 monthly with ads and $7.99 per month without ads. Wow, $5 for something with ads? Oh, thank you. Quibi last year said it sold out its first year ad inventory with $150 million in commitments from advertisers that were including Google, P&G, and PepsiCo. The company inked a distribution deal with T-Mobile, which has offered Quibi free for 1 year to subscribers on unlimited wireless family plans. Now, that's the end of the article. We will say this. We already knew from stories I previously reported that the advertisers were coming back to Quibi and saying, we're not comfortable with how much money we've given you for these advertisements because they are not yielding any sales. And they were right. 500,000 subscribers, not worth it to any of these people. It's also not going to keep a streaming service up and running. It's not going to pay for content that costs $100,000 a minute. That's just nuts. And it's also insane that this platform has existed as long as it has. The reason YouTube works is because, number one, it's not driven by celebrities. When celebrities show up on the platform, they burn bright and then they seem to fade away. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, everybody who makes it on YouTube makes it on YouTube first. In fact, sometimes that's not a convertible ability either. If you look at someone like Lily Singh, who has not translated her huge audience on YouTube over to regular network television. Just hasn't worked. So again, short form programming is done very well by the people who kind of create it every day. The folks here on YouTube, the incredible folks like Nerdrotic, like Comics Division, like Midnight's Edge After Dark, like many of your other favorite creators out there with like World Class Bull Sausage. I'm not going to say the words, but WCBS, where Jeff Hicks has started a great program. You have incredible creators like Clownfish TV, and all of them have their own niche. They have their own way of presenting information. There are people that I all look up to, and people that I try to pattern myself after, or at least take inspiration from, so that I can move forward here. That is not what this turned out to be. Quibi, you cannot do the short form programming. You can't produce the content at that rate. It isn't going to yield any money. It's not going to bring in advertisers. I believe you were probably warned about this, but you ignored it. Anyway, that's just my strong opinion on a story that just recently happened. By the time I get this cut down, we probably will already be about the time that the meeting is happening, where that was this all hands meeting that they're talking about, where they will discover what their fate is. My guess is their fate will be an update sometime this weekend about Quibi going bye-bye. In fact, it may be a conversation that happens tonight on The Dump over on Sporking News Podcast, maybe a conversation that happens on Thursday over at Comics Division's channel. It could be happening everywhere. It could happen on Midnight's Edge. This conversation will be big because this is a giant failure, and it is showing or demonstrating, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, that celebrities no longer drive content. Anyway, just a quick one, almost nearly unedited. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Be sure to support other independent creators out there. I mentioned several. They're all awesome. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.